Yesterday, rumors were spreading around that Doctor Who is going to get canceled, which we debunked for everybody. The Times, actually, the BBC came out and said that they are, and always have been, which has been consistent, waiting for Season 2's ratings before making any decisions on things. I do think it will get canceled at that point because I think the ratings of Season 2 are going to be that bad. But the current rumors that it's been canceled and the like are not true. I've actually had somebody from Bad Wolf tell me this on the last rumor that went around with this as well. So, but they're still sweeping for Doctor Who, and they're now trying to push it because they know that the audience realizes that this could get canceled very, very soon, and that Doctor Who's ratings are a disaster, and that nobody really likes the current Doctor Who. Nobody's been watching it. The latest Christmas special had its lowest ratings ever. So what does the Radio Times, the ultimate glazer of Doctor Who, do? Doctor Who needs to be woke, and there's a reason every sci-fi fan should agree. All right, this is going to make my blood boil, guys. I'm going to get absolutely angry at this. Just warning you. Trigger warning in advance. We're going to get into this news. Hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things science fiction, my friends. Really appreciate you for being here. I'm a science fiction writer myself, and a very competent one. They should have me write Doctor Who, to be honest. I've got a time travel thing. I'm thinking about doing like an audio form because I love the audiobooks that the BBC's done with like that kind of graphic audio sort of thing. Something I'm thinking about doing. I haven't had time to get around to it yet because I've got too many projects. But my main world is called the Arroz War, and this is a science fiction space opera trilogy. So you got war in space, humans are fighting against aliens, big epic scope, a lot of fun, and you're going to love this. So grab this. It's in the description below. It's about a spy who embeds himself on an alien starship to bring back information to Earth in the middle of a war where humanity is dependent on him, and it's good stuff. You'll love it. Good characters, no wokeness, lots of fun. It's in the description below. It's a 3-book trilogy. If you grab the whole trilogy, it builds up so nice. I really can't state enough how that trilogy is really one epic story. You're going to love it. It's in the description below. And it's available on ebook, print, and audio for you. All right, so Doctor Who certainly has its problems, but wokeness isn't one. Do they really think that? Does somebody truly believe this, or is this written by AI? Because I can't imagine that there's anybody out there who thinks woke Doctor Who is not a, quote, problem at this juncture. Louise Griffin. Is this a real person? Radio Times sci-fi and fantasy editor covering everything from Doctor Who. You are fake news. Louise Griffin. You are fake news at this point. And this is what the Radio Times is presenting, fake news today. So, register for free. I don't want to register for this. What's going on? Not now. Thank you. Like clockwork, every few months there will be an uproar about how Doctor Who being woke has ruined the show. Because it has, and the fans are still mad. And they haven't course-corrected whatsoever. In fact, they've doubled down. They hired some weird transgender writer who is known for writing a book called This Book Is Gay, and to write for Doctor Who, and they started pushing that at the BBC as if people want that. Nobody wants it. Nobody's interested. It is 2025. Trump has won. You lost, and this over. You can keep shouting to the wind about this stuff, but we are never going to accept this crap. This time, it's been claimed that the long-running sci-fi helm by Russell T Davies has been shelved, in part to dwindling ratings resulting from fans' fury over unspecified woke storylines. The BBC has described this as incorrect, stating Doctor Who has not been shelved. Now, at the same time, people have been wondering, why is a Doctor Who Season 3 not greenlit? Because it filmed last year. It's been done since last year. Nothing's going on with that Doctor Who going forward. So yes, they are waiting for ratings for Season 2 before making a decision. And that is actually true. And they are nervous about it because Gatwa's made statements about it. The BBC actually, when Gatwa said it was going to return for Season 3 last year, the BBC actually deleted that portion of his interview with Graham Norton, by the way, and hid it and pretended it didn't happen because it has not been greenlit for Season 3. Russell T Davies said they'll have to wait, and so they're nervous. They really are nervous. While it is true it has not been shelved yet, it's on its way, and if the current trajectory holds, it's definitely going to go that direction. I've also heard that Disney bosses are not happy with their investment on this, that it's not been paying off for them. So it's not likely that Disney's going to come back and funnel them a bunch more money because they're not going to get any U.S. aid money to do so. The government's not going to fund this crap anymore. Maybe you will over in Europe because the BBC is a government-funded operation, but not here. America's done with this crap. Sorry. Wake up, England. The thing is, the argument that wokeness has ruined Doctor Who is not only predictable, boring, and lazy. That means it's true in media literacy speak. It's also nonsensical. Doctor Who has its problems, but wokeness isn't one. Actually, it's pretty much all of it. That is the whole problem. If you look at what Doctor Who's got right now, casting a gay black guy is a woke move. Making him gay and actually have him go and make out with some random dude and actually abandon his companion to do so is a woke problem, because the Doctor would not do that. That's not a thing. Casting weird transgender people in like musical episodes, that's a woke problem, because that's, again, just a weird homosexual drag show sort of thing you're trying to put into a children's show. And it is a children's show. It's meant for families. This is the entire problem with it. In fact, the production's off the charts. It looks better than ever. All the effects are huge because they got Disney money funneling into this. The editing's huge. They can hire anybody they want. And at the same time, the show's performing worse than ever. They're of course defying a lot of the lore of Doctor Who in its past. They're pushing fantasy over science fiction because they're lazy writers, and it all stems from the wokeness and the diversity hires that's going on. That is the entire problem in a nutshell. So there you go. First off, we need a definition to be clear of what we're talking about. The idea of being woke has evolved in recent years. This is also a lie that SJWs keep saying. This is not true either. Woke is the pushing of the LGBTQ agenda and the whole Black Lives Matter crap. That's what it is, okay? It's an anti-white, anti-straight, anti-Christian society setup. And that is exactly what they present here. Remember how they put Sir Isaac Newton and cast him as an Indian man, even though he's a historical figure? Yeah, that's woke. Now, it has a particularly negative connotation, often used to refer to people viewed as oversensitive about political and social issues. Well, that's a nice way of putting it. It's actually extremists trying to push their issues. At its base level, being woke refers to the big idea of being aware and attentive over important issues, especially social and racial injustice. Well, please clap. Looking at the definition is not groundbreaking to argue Doctor Who has always been woke. Now, there was a little bit of it in the 2005 version of this. It has not always been. The versions of this back in the day were not woke. However, Russell T Davies tried to insert that in. It's because it's self-insert identity politics, and he wanted to put gay crap in there. That's why they put the Jack Harkness thing in there. And that Jack Harkness thing was cringe, and it was terrible. When it was in there, they had to spin it off into its own show because they couldn't keep it in Doctor Who because it was such a disaster. And we all know how that went. That guy ended up going way off the rails, like flashing people on the set and because these are all degenerates who are obsessed with their sexual fetishes and want to put them on everybody else, including children. Russell T Davies has said so. It's sick. These are groomers. From its very inception, the show has always depicted the Doctor fighting against tyranny and oppression. See, this is where they call right-wing tyranny and oppression, but it's not. The right wing's about freedom, so it's quite the opposite. If you look at Margaret Thatcher, that was their, quote, tyranny and oppression. If you look at Donald Trump, they call that tyranny and oppression. And at the same time, people get deplatformed by Google. People we're getting just torched by these social media companies. You can't even say anything online. You'll lose your jobs forever because of their tyranny and oppression. So yes, Doctor Who would fight against the left-wing tyrannical oppression, the communism that's out there, right? There you go. And it has before, actually. The old ones did. All these shows and comics and all that they claim were always left-wing were very anti-communist. Very anti-communist. They were. And these are all communist tactics now, trying to change the definitions of words, like tyranny and oppression equals fighting tyranny and oppression equals woke. No, it doesn't. Your weird fetish stuff being out in public is oppressive to all normal people who don't want to watch it. Leave us alone. Both in the classic and modern Doctor Who, they covered poverty, evil empires, capitalist greed, and more. It's always been progressive and inclusive for its time. Now, they love to make this argument too, that something different, like having a woman write on the show or something like that, is the same thing as pushing a black guy making out with a dude on the show. It's not the same thing, and it's not the same thing. This is false equivalency. It's a logical fallacy. Now, what came from this, the slippery slope logical fallacy, actually happened. That actually was true, and the slippery slope caused this. The criticism angled against Doctor Who has often shown as we need its inclusivity and representation so much. The sexism we saw when Jodie Whittaker was cast as the Doctor, which never should have been done, shows why we needed a female Doctor. So again, this person just hates the fans of Doctor Who, and the fans are the problem. This is what they say every single time. You sexist fans. The racism with Ncuti Gatwa's face is the first permanent black Doctor. The first permanent black Doctor. Oh my gosh. They have everything has to be like a qualified first at this point. Was heartbreakingly unsurprising, proving why we needed him. The homophobic complaints against the gay kiss shows the spoke for themselves. There you are. This person is just a nut. Nobody wants to watch this crap. The culture's not progressing. It is regressing, as you much say. Doctor Who will always be a mirror of that, and the series' enduring pillar of sci-fi genre has always been and always will be woke. It was never that way. They added a little bit into it, and then they kept pushing. They kept pushing. They kept pushing. Now, sci-fi as a genre was not always woke. If you look at back in the day, sci-fi, which Edgar Rice Burroughs and John Carter, it was all about the alpha male. It was all about pushing this like masculinity. And even the old doctors, like even David Tennant and the like, even though they're quirky and all that, they still had masculine traits to them, which is what made those characters appealing. That masculinity as the Doctor was really ingrained in the character. His problem solving, his taking care of people, his protecting the women around him was what made Doctor Who watchable and fun. So it was quite the opposite. Once they changed it to Jodie Whittaker, they got rid of all the masculine qualities to it, and that was the problem with the Doctor. That's why nobody wanted to watch it at that point. It's not the Doctor anymore. And this is what they've done with science fiction. They've kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and they blacklisted anybody who's conservative from writing. They blacklisted anybody who's Christian from writing, and so you don't have any real values in this storytelling anymore. And that is where they're failing. So we have to bring it back. If you go back to like before the boomers kind of ruined everything and started incrementally pushing that progressivism into it. It's been going on for that long, yes. It wasn't ruined right away, but they pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and then pretty soon you just have a poop sandwich of science fiction, and that's what we've got with Doctor Who now, and it's all because of the wokeness. We have to go back. We have to bring it back to when science fiction was great before all of this nonsense, and we're going to do so, my friends. So Doctor Who, the ratings are going to die. This is sweeping for it. It is going to get canceled eventually. It isn't now. But yes, you could tell they are nervous about it. They know that the fans are against it, and they know that the season's going to fail because they've pushed the wokeness even harder. Leave a comment down below with what you think, my friends. Gosh, I got angry. Hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure to check out my science fiction trilogy, guys. You're going to love this. No wokeness involved, just real good storytelling in science fiction. Check it out. And actually, Radio Times person, whoever you are, Louise Griffin, read some real science fiction. Come in on this, then write about it on the Radio Times. That'd be great. Thank you. It's available on ebook, print, and audio. We'll be back soon.